Hello, welcome along to episode 275 of Adventures to Pop. My name is Simon Jacobs. You are incredibly welcome. And in this episode, we're going to focus on one of the tracks remaining from the album Organic, which came out 2 or 3 weeks ago, back on the 21st of November. And there are literally just two tracks that we haven't really talked about or explored, and I'm just feeling bad about that because, I don't want to leave them out. And actually, these two tracks are right in the middle of this album, if you see what I mean. One is track 6, one is track 7, and they form a centerpiece of this Organic album. So there is no track that I'm ever going to admit to being weaker than any other. So. If that's what you're looking for, move on. So today we're going to look at a track called Don't Look Back, which has been around for a while. It's taken a while to kind of get it ready to be released. It's got quite a frenetic sort of chorus going on, and there's a fair bit happening in this song. So what can we say about Don't Look Back? I'm going to keep this fairly brief, and I'm just going to share a really nice performance type video with you. No makeup, no scary faces, just me, trying to give the best I can to make another video. So what can we talk about with Don't Look Back? Well, there's a couple of things about the construction of the song. First of all, it has this weird kind of intro and outro, which is an unusual thing for me to kind of write, which is, so it's got a little standalone section as it launches into the song, and then it comes back to that section as it launches out of the song. So yeah, just a bit unusual. Don't know why it happened, it just sort of did. And then I guess what I really want to do is return to a subject that I've sort of mentioned, but I think, I've thought about it a little bit more, and I do think it's quite interesting. This is this business about friends. What is the role of friends in my songs? And there are basically 3 songs on this album, Organic, that mention friends, and in each one the friends have a slightly different role. But in this song, Don't Look Back, friends are really core to the whole thing. I think in It's You, is the first track on the album and the first single, friends are a bit of an afterthought. They get mentioned. My friends tell me, you're not for real. It's a little mention in the chorus. My friends tell me, if you're not for real, and I say basically, yes, you are for real. So in It's You, I'm having a little disagreement with my friends. They say, be careful, mate, you shouldn't be trusting this person. And I'm saying, don't worry, I've got this. You're wrong, I'm right, we're good. Okay, in You Never Will, the last track on the album, your friends are certainly painted as being all very nefarious. They're all dishonest and they've all got it in for me. So I'm being a bit of a victim in You Never Will, and I'm describing your friends as being. What do I say? Rather sarcastically in that song, I say your friends never fail to surprise, and I accuse them all of being, dishonest. So that's great. In this song, Don't Look Back, I think the friends have got a really core part to play, and the friends are basically there acting as a warning to me. And so in this one, all of my friends, it's not just the odd friend here and there, the emphasis is on all of my friends. Let me just find the opening line as we get to the chorus. All of my friends, they say, put it behind you, walk away and don't look back. So basically, the way this comes across is, I'm thinking of returning to some relationship, it seems here, that broke my heart the first time round. So I'm looking to re-find this person, whoever it is, wherever they are, and start again. And my friends are saying, as you can imagine, my friends are saying, don't do that. You got your heart broken the first time. Are you mad? So I think if we stand back and look at this kind of objectively, it might be that we would say the friends are being pretty sensible, and I'm the one being a bit impulsive and crazy and probably wrong-headed, and I'm about to get myself into more trouble. My friends are there saying, "Don't do that, you idiot, no." So the words here are, all of my friends, they say, "Put it behind you, walk away and don't look back. But if I had my time again, I'd go back and find you, just so I could make amends." All of my friends, they say, "Love can blind you, and every action makes you react. But if I could go back then, I know I'd find you and I'd ask you." So there's a real fight going on here, toing and froing of me saying, I know that I can make this work. And all of the friends, not just one or two friends, but all of my friends saying, "Are you completely crazy? Don't do that." So that's one of the choruses. And then the nice thing here, a second chorus, which is basically the same, but with little changes, just to play with those words and the rhymings, etc. So second chorus is all my friends, they say, "Don't let it define you. Walk away and don't look back. But if I have my time again, I go back and try to see if I could make amends." All of my friends, they say, "Love will deny you. And my defense just makes you attack. But if I could go back then, I know I would find you and I'd convince you to start again." I'm completely fooling myself here, aren't I? This is one of these fabulous kind of examples of the narrator of the story, i.e. me, being an unreliable witness. I think we could probably say that fairly and squarely. And the friends are the reliable ones. They're the ones saying, "Don't be a complete fool. Stay away." So interesting, isn't it? So the role that friends take, sometimes it's often an argument, and sometimes you look at it and you think, well, the friends are obviously right. Don't be crazy. And sometimes you think, no, your friends are not doing you much of a service here. But I think they probably are. They're on the side of right in this song, certainly. It makes me think that I should go back through all of my songs and just find out every time I've made a reference to friends. It's quite an interesting thing, because I didn't really realise until these three songs popped up on the same album, and I thought, there's a recurring theme here. And I quite like when recurring themes happen without me realising, I suppose. The only other example I could think of, just completely off the top of my head, is way back, I think on my third album, 12 Colours, there's the song Friendly Fire, where what's been going on with that song? I think with friends like these, who needs enemies is the key line. So yeah, some dubious friends I've got there, and there must be lots of others. But I might do a little bit of homework and come back with a whole episode about the role of my friends. But it's an interesting subject, and there's probably other things that create patterns through my songs that I'm not aware of, and you might be more aware of it than I am, so you better let me know. Anyway, look, let's hear the song. In terms of the track itself, forget the words for a second, but the track itself, quite a frenetic chorus. And when the chorus comes in, certainly when the first time the chorus comes in, you hear one voice coming in, then you hear another voice on top of that, and then you hear a third voice. And in the video, I've tried to kind of show that by having, one of me and then two of me and then three of me popping up on the screen. So, once again, it's that split screen thing that I quite like doing. It's just that I'm always looking for different effects just to keep the interest, because there have been so many videos. So listen, I hope you like this track. It is actually one of my favourites, but then I think I might say that about almost every track on this album. And as I say, it's been sitting around. It was always a surefire inclusion on the album. There was never a moment's doubt, I think, that it should not appear. It's here. And I would be back to talk about one more track from this album, and then we will have covered the whole lot. One more track, which is called Cotton Wool. That will be next time round. But in the meantime, let me leave you with Don't Look Back, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
If it's true that life is a test, if it's true that everything happens for the best, why did you break my heart like that? You delivered the knockout blow that left me flat. Oh, I thought the sun would always shine. I believed it's true that life is a test, if it's true that everything happens for the best,